Welcome back, guys. Elfuego here for wowpetbattle.com. Continuing our WOD showcase. Got something new for you today, guys. This is all the trainers 1 through 6. Gaara, Siemer, Tarr, Tarr-Loon, Bashar, and Ashley in all of the realm. So it's going to be a 2-pet team on every single trainer. You guys want to make sure that you have your pet treat up, your lesser pet treat up, and of course that trainer helmet giving you that 10% additional. All three of them combined are going to give you about 85% additional to that pet's experience. So I'm going to be explaining the fights in real time, but everything else will be sped up, the travel time and all of the mapping areas, so you don't have to sit all the way through it. So sit back and relax, let's get your notepad out, and let's get ready to defeat all 6 of them. And of course the add-ons I'll be using today are the Pet Battle Master. That's the one that everyone's always asking me about. It has those 3 little blocks at the bottom giving you the cooldowns on your opponent's abilities, followed with Collect Me. So we're going to start with Gaara here, our first opponent. We're going to move right in with little XT, and we are going to start with that Tympanic Tantrum. It's like Quake, only it's a little stronger. He is one of the purchasable pets, I believe, from the Blizz store. So if you don't have him available, you might want to try either a Pocket Reaver, as you see there, or also the Personal World Destroyer. But I chose this guy because he has the strongest Quake ability by far. Once Quake is resolved, you want to move into a Zap just to knock him out, and this is where your pet switch is going to be. You're going to move him in, whatever pet you're leveling here. I chose the Mechanical Scorpion. That's because his first round is going to be just simply a speed switch followed by a dodge. So there's the dodge, and you're going to go ahead and move in with your supercharge. That's going to up your damage by 125%. It doesn't just double it, it actually doubles it plus some. So you're going to get that really strong attack off that first round and into the back as well. So it's just going to pulse for 3 rounds, and as the 3rd round comes up, from here we're just going to ride the Personal World Destroyer right out to the last. There's no use in using that supercharge because with this final shot, he gets owned! And that's our first trainer down, the levels 1 through 14. We're about halfway there. Our next trainer coming up is going to be Siemer, so go ahead and complete the quest, flip around, and head on back to the flight path. As you finish with Gaara and you make your way over to the flight path, you want to make your way over to Beastwatch, which is located in Gorgrond. Here you'll be facing off Siemer Brightblade. The next battle is a little bit long in order to do with 2 pets. It's a little tedious, you kind of got to watch your timers, but if done properly, you'll never have to worry about the first pet at all, actually, as you time all of the abilities to your fearsome Anubisath. So just make your way over to Siemer and just dodge and weave through all these ads here. And as you make your way, make sure you have the proper team selected, and we're going to start with Anubisath and the Mechanical Pandarin Dragonling and the pet of your choice. So with the Idol of Decay, you want to set your deflection to Rot's timer. Every 3 rounds or so he's going to utilize that. So really it's just all about setting your deflection up to the timing of Rot. From there you want to make sure that your Stone Skin is up. He's going to apply his Swarm of Flies. Once those 2 are up, the 3rd round you're just going to move your pet in for another Swarm of Flies. It's not really going to do much to him. It's just going to set his time into the match so it counts to level him. Once that's done, from there you're going to move back into Anubisath, and you'll see that Rot is up. You're going to want to match that timer to his Rot, to the deflection, and then from there you can start to move in with your DPS. So just go ahead and spam Crush for those 2 rounds, and once that Rot timer is up, you're going to re-up your deflection in time with it, and you want to make sure that your stone skin doesn't fall off. The big thing with the Idol of Decay here is you want to make sure that you don't push him over the edge to where he's going to use his Dark Rebirth and be around for another 3 or 4 rounds after that. So right here I tried to be really careful. Now 330 is within his crush range. It wasn't possible to skirt around it. Sometimes he'll hit him for real low, but in this case he actually killed him. So instead of timing your deflection to the rot because he was reborn, he's going to utilize his Dark Rebirth. So just go ahead and use your Stone Skin just to re-up it to get your defenses up, and then once he becomes reborn, he'll come back at full health and then slowly start ticking away. And now it's just that same gentle dance with timing your deflection to his rot while he ticks down to expiration. So just make sure that your Stone Skin is up, and if you're low in health at all, just spam Crush. Even though it's in futility as he's just ticking down, it's still, because you attacked and you're a humanoid, it's still going to heal you that 69 for every round. So with the idle down, in comes the next pet, and this is where you're going to swap over to the Pandaren Mechanical Dragonling. This phase of Siemer is kind of like a DPS race. She's going to start with Illuminate, and that's going to change the weather and up some of the health totals. From there, she's going to try to do Wish. Wish comes in about 3 rounds, so you just want to go ahead and breath spam as much as you can, just whittling her down. She's going to whittle away back with that Arcane Blast, so you just want to kind of get her as low as you can before she pops Wish. There's the Wish, but she's so low it's not going to matter because this last breath is going to end her. So as this third pet enters, you'll see that he's mechanical. You want to go ahead and utilize Thunderbolt. He's going to use his Railgun, so that's probably going to take out the dragon. So once you pop back up with your mechanical, you want to hit him with that Thunderbolt as it's strong against him. And then from there, you want to see if you can get that pet switch in, as we're going to start in with Anubisath again. And once again, this is all about that timing, and Anubisath is a really great pet, just as long as you can time the deflection to the rocket. Now, this actually was a pretty long fight. This actually went in an additional cycle. I just didn't have the DPS enough. I didn't get enough criticals. RNG wasn't really on my side here. So it's a little bit longer than usual, but essentially what you have to do is every time he builds the rocket, you're going to hit deflection, and that's going to come crashing down. The only exception to that rule is if he has built the rocket after he's fired it, and then he's built it again, and then he's going to move into Railgun, and then he's going to cycle back into repair, as you see from there, and he's going to keep that rocket up. So it's kind of it's not really a guess, but you just kind of have to time it to where he's going to fire that rocket off again, and it's usually right after the repair finishes. So repair has just now finished, and now he's going to start into his Railgun, and then from there I'm going to hit deflection, and that should negate that rocket coming down completely. Excellent, which it does. And it's just continuing in that gentle dance of trying to time the deflection. So he's going to build another rocket, and then you're going to try to spam Crush, and he's going to fire that rocket off again. So it's always going to be rocket, fire it, replace rocket, then another action, and then after those actions are completed, it's rocket again. So now he's back into his Railgun spam, and even though he moves into repair with a final Crush, he gets owned! So from here, you want to go ahead and accept the completed quest from Siemer, and that's 2 down out of 6. Also, you can go ahead and utilize your Hearthstone back to your garrison, as we don't really want to fly all the rest of the way here. You can go ahead and utilize your Hearthstone, and that way we can head south down to Tarr the Terrible and move into the gladiator portion of the pet battling. So after you've hearthed, move to the flight path and select Blizzard's next play on words, Just Relax, which is Jaws is relaxed, or something to that effect. So it translates into Just Relax. And make your way northwest towards Tarr the Terrible. And once you've arrived, make sure that you set up the proper team. For this, I chose the Unborn Valkyr and one of my favorite human killers, the Blighthawk. So as you start the fight, you want to stay with the Unborn Valkyr. He's going to use Falling Murloc. You're going to retaliate with Haunt. That's going to put some damage in on him as he gives you a free pet switch into the background. From there, I decided to bring in the Scorpion for his 1 round because I know the pet switch is coming. So I just had him sit there and toss a little bit of poison onto him as he switches. And from there, we're going to take the opportunity to switch right back into our next killer, which is the Blighthawk. Once the Blighthawk enters the scene, you got a few things that you can choose to do. He's going to stun you with that clobber after he changes the weather. So take a moment to use Infected Claw. He's going to swoop up on you with clobber. And from there, you want to just pass the round. He's going to set the first half of his breath, his deep breath, onto the field. So you just want to lift off and negate it completely and move in with the flying. If the flying doesn't take him out, you can use the Infected Claw. But once he's down, from there, you can just choose to knock this gladiator right out with that Ghostly Bite, leaving one last pet. And by now, your Unborn Valkyr is going to be up, and because the Blighthawk's stunned, you can just move right into her. You got 1 round left, and you can go ahead and reutilize Haunt again right on to this 3rd and final gladiator and switch right back in to your Blighthawk. With the Blighthawk back in play, he's already utilized his Heroic Leap, so there's really nothing you can do, even though we're faster, so we're just going to pass the round. And as the Heroic Leap resolves, it's going to do a little bit of damage to us, but don't forget that Haunt is ticking down on him as well. So we want to get him within Ghostly Bite range, so we're going to swipe at him with that Infected Claw. And once our Racial activates, we're still in for 1 more round, and you know what's coming. With that dirty Ghostly Bite, he gets owned! And with no more gladiators to feed the machine, that completes Tarr. He's 3 out of 6 of the trainers, 5 of which are Horde local side, the 6th being the young lady Ashley over there in the Alliance start area. So when you've accepted the quest, you want to jump back up on your mount and shoot back over. You have a choice. You can either go to Rilzit's Holdfast in the Grand. You can go back to Just Relax, Jaws's Relax in the Grand. Your choice. Or if you have Throne of the Elements, you can also go there as well. Either way, once you make your way back to the flight trainer, you'll be moving down to Retribution Point, located in Talador, as Tarr-Loon is up next. While you're in flight, you do have the option of going and opening your collections. You can hit Shift and P, and that'll bring it up and flip over to the pet journal, where you can take a moment while you're in the air to select the next pet team that you have. Like I said, Pet Battle Master has those teams that you can move in air real time, and if your pet has made 25 already, if you didn't start with just a level 1, then you can move into your selection and choose which pet you want to replace. So as you land, you want to start with the right team in play here. I used the Emerald Protowhelp and the Sunreaver Micro Sentry. The first round is going to stun you, so no matter what you do, just choose anything. The second round from there, you want to use your extra plating. Third round, you want to use your supercharge, and 4th round, you want to actually zap him with that laser. From there, you can choose. I choose to pass the round because I want to get my plating back up, because the next moth that comes in hits really, really hard with Call Lightning. So I want to make sure I have some defense against it. So as that first one goes down, the second one comes in. He's going to start with his plating. I like to retaliate with that supercharge to get it ramped up to hit really hard with the laser. Sometimes you get slept right there. I got lucky and didn't get slept, so it doesn't usually happen too often. But here you just want to do laser spam until that second pet is down. And with the third pet in play, this is where my pet switch comes into play. So a lot of the time he'll first utilize his targeting. So he'll go ahead and pop that up, which he just did, and then that counts as the round. And then I flip back into my next pet, which is I try to ride the coattails here and waste one of those mothball rounds. And with the microweaver coming back into play, it just kind of soaks up the round. So from there, you see that you have one round left on that mothball strike. So the best thing to do was to utilize the dragon liftoff equivalent, which is Proto Strike, to move into the air. So by the time that next mothball resolves, you're nowhere near it, and it just completely misses. On top of that, as you come down, the Proto Strike does a bunch of damage and then sets you up for the next round. From here, you want to use Emerald Presence. That way you can negate some of that incoming damage, as those mothballs only have a 1 round cooldown, and they really hurt. So you just want to kind of stay out of the way of them. And we got one final round left after his attack. He gets owned with that last Emerald Bite. That makes trainer number 4 out of the 6 in total. Don't forget to run up and complete your quest. From there, you're going to mount back up, and you are going to make your way back over to the flight path, which is located in Retribution Point on Talador. Your next movement is going to be one of the 3. You have Axefall, Spires, Veil, Tarek, or Talon Watch. You want to move to Veil Tarek, the Spires of Iraq. That's going to be your best bet. It's down there almost as far south. It's just one up from Pinch Whistle Gearworks, which is also in the Spires of Iraq. So you want to be moving towards our next trainer, which is going to be Bashar. So you want to make sure that you have the right team as you begin. Here I chose the Emerald Protowhelp and Chi-Chi. She's actually a really strong flyer, really strong against mechanicals. So from here you want to start out with your Proto Strike. After Proto Strike you want to use your Emerald Presence to negate some of the damage, and then just spam your Emerald Bite. Now here is where the mechanics kick in. You want to move into whatever pet you're going to be leveling here. So you're going to start off with Chi-Chi, and you want to get those entangling roots up on you. And from there, you want to utilize your Ethereal. And you always want to time that ability, Ethereal, to the Feathered Frenzy ability. That's going to negate it completely, and the roots are never going to hit you. So once those are timed, just like you did with Deflection and Anubisath, you want to move the pet you're going to be leveling into for 1 round, as it's completely safe. The batter's not going to do any damage. And then you're going to move Chi-Chi right back into play. And we're just going to rinse and repeat, just like we did with Anubisath, timing it to the Feathered Frenzy. So make sure your Ethereal's with Feathered Frenzy, and that you have the Tranquility up, healing as much as you can, followed by the Fire Quills. They do tons amount of damage to these mechanicals, and he's not going to be around much longer. So just keep that Tranquility up, and just keep rinsing and repeating, timing Ethereal, and he'll be down in no time. He'll be ready to take on the 3rd pet. Now this is where RNG is going to play a part of it here. This Darkwing is actually the NPC version of your Dread Hatchling that you got with the expansion of WOD. So here you really just want to time Ethereal. Your first move should be attack with the quills, and then your second move should be the Ethereal, and then the third one should just be attack. This is a DPS race here, so you want to make sure you're as aggressive as you possibly can be. He's going to heal himself, but you should be able to move right through. And with the final toss of the quills, Darkwing gets owned! With no more birds to feed the machine, that is 5 horde side out of the 6 trainers for the day. Make sure you run up and complete your quest, and you can either decide to move back into your garrison and do the daily, or from here you can fly on over to Shadowmoon Valley. Now, in this video I'm going to show you how to run across, as some people don't have the flight path that makes it over there towards the valley. You're actually looking for Exile's Rise in Shadowmoon Valley. But like I said, it's the allied start position, and most people don't have it, so you actually have to run over and look for it. If you actually do have an interest in that, then if you open up your map and you move over to Draenor and then go into Shadowmoon Valley, the trainer, Ashley, she's actually at 50-30, well 49-30, 50-30, and your flight path Exile's Rise is actually 45-25. So it's up a little pathway there. So with that in mind, this is going to be the fly as far over as you can version, which will bring you right to Tarr-Loon Refuge in Talador. It's like that little swampy area, and I'll be running over from there. But if you have the flight path, move towards Exile's Rise, and then it's just a quick little jaunt over to finish it. So if you've flown over, you can go ahead and skip right ahead to the actual fight. If not, this is just kind of showing the path of where you're moving to. You want to get up here on this ridge and move up the bridge into the next area, and from here you just want to follow. There's pretty much a path that just moves you right towards it. It goes south a little bit, and it cuts south and then moves back and continues to head east. So if you want to find your way through the forest, you can do so. If not, I would just recommend just staying on the path and just running. If you get an opportunity, though, if this is your first time going over, I definitely recommend that you take a moment and stop over here in the Shadowmoon Valley and pick up the flight path at Exile's Rise, which is located at 45-25. You'll see it moves just a little bit north off the path once you pass Anguish Fortress, but before you reach Embari Village. So definitely get your flight path. So when this fight begins, whether you've ran over or flown over, make sure you have the right team. For me, it's the Emerald Protowhelp, and he can actually solo the entire team. I'm not too sure why I had a Strider in the background. I think I was testing something, but either way, he pretty much can solo it. A little bit of bad RNG here, but just to show you how easy it was, I actually kept the Strider in here. So I started with the Proto Strike, which is the Dragon Liftoff equivalent. From there, I used Emerald Presence to kind of negate some damage. And I probably could have swapped my pet in right here onto Doodle, but chose just to keep upping the Emerald Presence. Actually, now that I think about it, probably would have been a really great time to maybe switch one of those to a heal and to continue the heal going. From here, he's going to Stampede me. Because your presence is up, Stampede is pretty much just a give me. So I kind of flew into the air. I actually probably should have used that liftoff towards the end of it as it was finishing its resolution, so I didn't have to take the bleat to the face the way I did. But anyway, excuse me, the headbutt. So from here, it's just breath spam, trying to bring him down as low as I can, and then he just kind of jumps in here and knocks me down with that headbutt, and I had no choice but to move in with the Elemental Strider just to knock him down. And from here, the Eternal Strider just rinse and repeat. This guy doesn't attack at all. It's just pretty much a give me at this point. So I move my pet in that I'm leveling for a round. Now that I think about it, I probably could have just utilized the pet that was there, but as he was level 23 or so. So I just switched back in and just rinse and repeated. I got Rain up and just kept spamming Pump. You know, round 1 of Pump makes it amplified, and then round 2 of Pump actually actions it and hits pretty hard, even though he's weak against it. So it took a little bit longer than usual. Not one of my best finishes, but just to show you how easy and how non-damaging this fight is. Once you rip through the first 2, pretty much the third is just a give me. And after one final pump and a lasting water jet, Little Doodle gets owned! With no more plushies to own, that completes all 6 of the daily trainers. We're always creating new content, so check our channel for updates. I'm El Fuego for wowpetbattle.com.